Hi, Josh here. I know. I know. Yeah, I know. It's been over 2 months since Claw Build Part 1. I said Claw Build Part 2 would be out in a couple weeks. But I didn't specify how many weeks out. No, I did. I think I said about 2 weeks. I didn't actually go look. Anyway, this is Claw Build Part 2.
The plan.
So today we're going to be mainly concentrating on bushings. Now these bushings are going to allow the teeth on the claw to turn smoothly. If I didn't have them, the 1/4 inch would most likely dig through the rod. Now I'm making these bushings out of 2-inch mild steel rod. I'm using mild steel because I don't have the equipment to turn anything harder. Well, I don't feel like any equipment. Basically, if you used hardened steel, something like what a drill bit is made out of, you would have to use a carbide insert drill bit. I don't have one of those. Also, I'm using steel rod instead of something like DOM. Well, there's a couple reasons. One, DOM's tolerances are terrible, so I wouldn't be able to just slide the rod through. Well, I probably could, but it'd be really loose. Also, DOM is hard to come by where I live, at least. My steel place didn't have it. It's also rather expensive compared to rod, so I just went with steel rod. Yeah. Also, why am I using 2-inch steel rod? Or how did I come to the measurement of 2 inches? It was the size of the clevis on the hydraulic ram, so I figured it was good enough there. It was good enough everywhere. No one ever said this was hard science, people.
Igor, get my wrench.
Yes, master.
Okay, so I start out with a piece of the 2-inch steel rod. I cut them up into pieces so that they're more manageable on the lathe. Now from this one piece, I'm going to get 3 bushings. 2 bushings are going to go into the side rails. The 3rd bushing is going to be the main bushing that will go onto the tooth. Ah, earthquake! Ooh, I think we changed time too. We went through time and space, but not space. Oh well. Right now I'm facing the end of the rod so that it will ride smoother on the bushing next to it. Now I'm dimpling the center of the rod so that when I drill, my drill bit won't wander all over the place. I had that problem for some reason. I think my tailstock's a little out. Now, if you're wondering, the drill bit actually made the hole a little bigger than I would have hoped. It was under 1 inch, but my rod was also under 1 inch, so I don't know. I guess that would make the rod poor tolerances. A clean lathe is a happy lathe. So now I'm going to cut the 2 bushings that will go onto the side rails. Now I was having some problems because I was using a high-speed steel cutoff bit and a cheap holder. I ended up throwing this thing out because it stunk so bad. Well, it didn't really. I think it stunk, but it could just be user error. Or it could just stink. Actually, the thing ended up breaking in one of the times that it broke, because it broke multiple times. It popped out of the holder and shot behind me. That's when I decided to get a carbide insert cutoff plate. And that worked great. So now I'm facing the one end of the end of the bushing that will go into the side rail because the tool stunk. We were already over that. problem I had was it was wandering, so it didn't create a flat face. Okay, so now I got the two bushings for the side rails, and now we're facing the main bushing, the one end. Now I'm putting a groove into the bushing. This will allow grease to go fully around the rod without the bushing having to be worked. I did this mainly because I could. It's also because the bushing wouldn't be moving a full 360 degrees, so you could have dry spots on the rod. At least that's what I told myself. Okay, so I did it because I could. Anyway, I turned the bushing around, and now I'm clamping it down. What I'm going to do is measure, I'm going to face it and shorten it to get the correct length. You don't want to have them a bunch of different sizes, because then the side rails would be pushed in and out, which would be bad. And I did this one more time? No. Two more times? No. Three more times. It took me a couple days to do it. Actually, I also made two other bushings for a third tooth. I don't know if I said this in the first part, but I'll say it again if I didn't. The ram is going to be attaching to a third tooth that's got the end cut off. This would be kind of like the backbone tooth. So I made another bushing like for that same way, but without the side rail bushings. Okay, so you remember that groove that I put in the bushing like a minute ago? You don't remember that. It was a minute ago. How could you not Oh, you went to go get some food. What'd you get? Anything good? No? Oh. Anyway, that groove is somewhat in the center of the bushing, which is kind of bad because that's where my the tooth has to go. So to get grease into the groove, I have to drill a hole at an angle. Okay, so the first thing to do is to dimple the bushing so that the drill bit won't wander. Then I gradually work it up at an angle until I get to about the angle that I need. To prevent the thing from pushing down when I push on it with the drill bit, I wedge something underneath. This is where a tilting table would come in handy. And we're through. So now that the hole's drilled, let's tap it and see how the grease zerk fitting fits. Always remember, when using cheap taps, lots of WD-40. Probably wouldn't hurt to use a proper tapping handle than an adjustable wrench. Oh well. Okay, so it's tapped. Let's see how the grease zerk fitting fits. Well, it doesn't fit. Why doesn't it fit? Grease zerk fitting threads are only about 1/4 inch long. The hole is at an angle, a fairly steep angle. 1/4 inch of threads is not enough to get into the hole. Gonna have to come up with something different here. So you remember that backbone jaw that the ram's going to attach to? Of course you do. It's got to get separated from the other jaws in order to give it the width. If I smoosh them all together, it would be a really thin jaw. So to do this, I'm going to be making a bushing that will fit onto a black pipe, which will be my separator. I'm making 2 of these per center jaw backbone, whatever you want to call it. Now I only need to make one bushing because the other side of the separator is going to be resting on the side rail bushing, which doesn't turn. So only one is needed. Well, technically two, because there will be one on either side of the backbone jaw. But you'll understand in like part 3 or 4 or 10, whatever. Now I drilled board or whatever the rod like I did before, and now I am cutting down the part like halfway of the bushing so that it can slide into the steel pipe or the black pipe. And now I'm cutting it off with my spiffy new carbide insert cutoff bit or blade. Works a lot better. And remember, when cutting, use plenty of coolant, or in my case, WD-40. Hey, can you guys become a sponsor or something? I'm using you enough. Okay, so now that we got the bushing made, it's time to get the black pipe ready. Now I'm screwing up the one end so that it will fit squarely onto the bushing. I'm also going to be cleaning up the inside of the one end so that it can slide on easily. And now I'm cutting it off to the proper length, whatever that may be. Now the first two bushings are a bit snug. I say a bit snug, well, let me rephrase that. There's no such thing as a bit snug with a 62-ton press. Okay, actually there might be. I was actually a little afraid that the pipe was going to split. It didn't though. Unfortunately, the other two bushings just slid on, which kind of made me sad. But what are you going to do? That's the tolerance of that stuff. So we got a bunch of bushings and no holes to place them in. Let's fix that. Now to drill the hole into the tooth, I'm just using a normal hole saw. Well, not a normal hole. Yeah, normal hole saw. Yeah, nothing special about it. Yeah. I'm also using plenty of WD-40. It seems to be a recurring theme. So I did this 3 more times. You know, I think that graphic's getting old. Multiples of me is in fact giving me nightmares. Which is weird. Anyway, next we're going to drill the side rails. Now I'm actually drilling these all at once. I piled the 4 side rails on top of each other. This way, there would be no variation in the distance between the 2 holes that could create binding. Now each time I pass through a layer of steel, I have to remove the cutout out of the hole saw. If I didn't, the 2 pieces would rub and it would produce lots of heat. In case you're wondering, the hole saw did survive. Although I think it hates me now. I think I heard it plotting against me or something. I'm not entirely sure. It could just be paranoia. And I did this 0 more times. Okay, I'm never using that graphic again. I used it 0 more times because I did it 0 more times because I placed them all at once. You probably figured that out. I probably didn't need to spell it out for you. I'm sorry for underestimating your intelligence. Will you forgive me? Okay. Okay, so now it's time to tack the bushings into the side rails. Now I'm using some pipe that I cut to space the distance between the side rail and the bottom of the bushings. Now I'm just clamping the whole thing onto some C-channel, so it should all be square and fairly even. So I placed the teeth and the teeth bushings onto the rods to see how everything would line up. It was then I realized that through this whole thing I had a brain fart. The way I was just going to attach the one end to the ram to one tooth and the other end of the ram to the other tooth. Now this would cause a problem. If for some reason I was not using the teeth on perfectly square to gravity, because you know that's like a 1 in a million chance, the teeth would shift. So if these are your teeth and they're parallel to gravity, they'll just go, and they're perfectly even in weight too, I should add, and friction. They do what I was thinking. If it goes like this, what would end up happening is they'll go like that. Ow, I can't bend my wrist that far, but you get the idea. There's no interlock to make sure that the jaws open and close in a synchronous fashion. I don't think that's the proper way to use that word, but just go with it. So what I have to do is create an interlock so that the jaws or the teeth will open and close synchronously. So if you haven't guessed, the next video is going to be about the interlock. Anyway, I'm currently working on the claw. Oh yeah, the claw. Besides the claw, I'm also working on a water cooling system for my rack, or for a couple servers on my rack. Why am I water cooling my servers? They're noisy, in case you haven't noticed. Can't hear that? That's probably because I did something to reduce it in post-processing. No, you're probably still gonna hear it, but anyway, I'm using a radiator that I think was from a tractor to cool them down. Now, if that doesn't sound interesting, I don't know what will. Anyway, if you want to see the most up-to-date information on the progress of my projects, should I say that 10 times fast, you should probably follow me on Instagram. In fact, you could also follow me on Twitter, because Instagram stuff goes to Twitter. You could also go to my website, but that won't be very up-to-date. In fact, just no, it's over here. Just see all that? Just go to all the things and do all the stuff. Now, if I'd stop hitting the microphone, we could continue. If you like it, like. If you really liked it, subscribe. If you didn't like it, still subscribe. I gotta start getting better sooner or later. If you have a suggestion, leave a comment. Have a complaint, leave a comment. Just leave a comment. Oh, and share. If you liked it, you can share it. Share it with a friend. If you didn't like it, you can share it with an enemy. I don't care who you share it to. Just share it. I'm not talking about the singer either. Share? Yeah, share's the singer, I think. Yeah. I'm not good with pop stuff. Anyway, it's getting late, and this is the 3rd time I'm doing this video, so... Anyway, I think that's it. Bye!